The first of those disgusting comments made by Home Affairs Minister Clare O'Neil, backed in by Aged Care Minister Arnica Wells, and I've got no doubt backed in too by the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister's office, claims that said Peter Dutton is a pedophile protector. Joining me now to discuss this, former soldier turned advocate for veterans, now of course member in the federal seat of Herbert, that's in Queensland, Phil Thompson joins me now. Phil, thank you for your time. I know you're as fired up as people right around the country with this slur on Peter Dutton, given his history, not just as a police officer, but as someone who worked in the specific area of sexual assault crimes. What's been your reaction to how low Labor's been prepared to go to distract from their incompetence?
Well, I was quite angry, and I reached out to Peter straight away and wanted to check in with him and see how he's going and how his family are taking this, because this is a disgraceful slur. And it just really, really fired me up, because you've got a government that is dwindling and failing and continuing to have missteps, to personally attack the Leader of the Opposition. And Peter Dutton has a proven track record of protecting children, of always going above and beyond to do the right thing and to bring forward legislation, to start initiatives, because he knows it's a scourge on society. And to have these personal attacks and to roll out all these ministers one after another and not be called out by their Prime Minister, to me, says that Anthony Albanese has greenlit this. He's allowed it to happen. And these personal attacks, it should not just be withdrawn. There should be apologies. And I feel for Peter, because they're not just attacking his record, they're attacking him and his family personally.
And they're attacking every other police officer. It'd be like saying someone like you that's worn our nation's uniform, because you're a former soldier, you're just a war criminal. I mean, this goes to the heart of your integrity. There were calls today for apologies from ministers. That didn't happen. There were calls from the Prime Minister to counsel his MPs or distance himself from these claims. That didn't happen, which tells me very much it's coming out of him and his office. But you know, you've got a big electorate there in Herbert. Do you reckon they're buying this?
No, and they'd be upset as well. And so, like you said, every police officer, whether you're in QPOL or the federal police or state jurisdictions around the country, would be quite upset with this, because it's slandering his service and it's slandering him now, but it goes much deeper. It goes out to the wider police force and the wider police service. And I think that the Prime Minister really should have stood up and showed leadership. The amount of disgusting comments that were made inside the chamber that probably weren't picked up on the microphone, if you wouldn't tolerate this. And to hear the Prime Minister say before the election, this is a kinder, gentler parliament, we're going to do things different, we're not going to attack people, and then kind of double down and go, well, if we can land a glove on Peter Dutton, we will, I think shameful. And they all should not just apologise. I think the Minister for Immigration, I think the Minister for Home Affairs, I think Annika and Matt Thistlethwaite should not just reflect, I think they should be stood down, because you can't get away with this kind of language. Words matter.
Let's go to that shocking decision by the South Australian Labor government, because they have just legislated to delete Anzac Day from the Official Holidays Act. This is a 1910 piece of legislation. I just think this is extraordinary. I thought someone must have had it wrong, but they don't. Tell us how veterans will react to this.
I'm not just offended by it. I'm pretty upset, and I think it's disgraceful. This nation was built on hard-fought battles that our brave men and women have fought in, and the freedoms we enjoy is because of that. And to have a state government show no regard, disregard, and remove it out of their Holidays Act and their official documentation, their legislation, I think it's disgraceful. And I know that the opposition, the Liberal Party there, put up an amendment to keep Anzac Day there, and they voted it down. When I first saw it, I thought surely no one would do that. We wouldn't see this in Australia, but that's what we've seen. And I think that veterans rightly around the country will be quite upset and quite disappointed in the state Labor decision in South Australia.
In South Australia, it's like January 26. I mean, 30 years ago, no one would have thought there'd be an attack on Australia Day. That's now being sold as a day of shame. I know lots of Australians, particularly after the Voice result, will have a bit of a pushback against it next year. But do we know the argument they're putting out? Because the calendar says, Easter Sunday, Good Friday, but they get to April 25, and that's all they call it, April 25. Why the decision? Why are they dropping the term Anzac Day? Do we know?
Oh, I got a really wishy-washy kind of answer when I kind of explored a little bit, and they said, "Oh, well, the day may change, but the date won't." I'm not really buying that. It's the same when you look at whether it's Australia Day, whether it's Christmas Day, Anzac Day, big days for this nation, and we shouldn't be pushing them to the side and really downplaying what it is. We should be honouring our fallen and paying homage to that, but also being proud of our nation for Australia Day. And I, like hopefully many Australians, will celebrate Christmas Day with our families. So I think that the wishy-washy language that we've got from the state government is not really good enough. And to really go a backwards, backflip on this, I'd hope that they'd like to change this legislation, because it's not in the values that I hold and what many other Australians hold.
No. I think people watching tonight will be disgusted, Phil. I know you love a bit of a fight. You love a campaign. Given the number of veterans around Australia and families of veterans, I think this is one where you could start up a petition and really take the fight up to the Premier and the government.
I will, and you're right. I do like a bit of a fight, and I'll always fight for the veterans and my people and the nation. And I think that the Premier should really reflect on this and make the changes that I think majority of the country would want.
All right, go for it, mate. Come back on next week and tell us how we can sign up to your petition, and we'll get it going. Thanks for your time, Phil Thompson.